All right, welcome to the Sae Bae Cast, number 29 with Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux, I have been looking forward to this for a while, and I'm finally glad to get you on. How are you doing?
Pleasure to finally be on here, baby. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure on my part, seriously. And as I said in the tweet, I have been watching you for 5 years. Started watching you during your old RC days, back before you were 100 mil RC, and honestly, I've just been a big fan. And I guess I'll just start off this cast with saying how you
Mm.
and a few others actually inspired me to start streaming and to start doing content creation. In
Oh,
fact,
wow.
a little story before we get into you is so
Fire away.
back when it was like 2015, or no, I guess it was 2016, when you started streaming. I was in college and I was just doing a bunch of classes and stuff, and I would watch you on like my breaks and stuff and while I was doing homework. And I remember thinking how exciting, like it sounds weird because it probably didn't appear to you, but I remember thinking about of how exciting your life was. Even though to you it was probably just like you just play RuneScape, stream. But I remember thinking how just cool it was that you got to just do your thing in your own element and
Uh,
like kind of make something of it, and even make a living
yeah.
off of it. And I remember just thinking like that was me going to school. I didn't really have a full focus of what I was doing. I was just taking classes. And
Yeah.
you and a few other streamers were definitely huge parts of me like eventually getting to that point where I started streaming myself. So you provided those like really unique vibes at the time, and I just really appreciated your streams.
Thank
So
you, man.
yeah.
To be a streamer is a very unique and strange life.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I kind of see a little bit more into that obviously now. And, but yeah, it was cool. And so, I've always been a big fan, and I've always, loved just how unique your streams were. Seriously, you're one of a kind.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. I try to be.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's what a streamer should do, right? Is try to be unique and stand out.
exactly. Yeah. 100%. So I want to get into you now a little bit. So when did you initially start RuneScape? Just
The first,
yeah.
the first ever time.
Yes, the first ever time.
Whew. So it would have been late 2003. I was on a school lunch break and I was walking to my local town for fish and chips. And on my way to the fish and chips, I would pass by a library. And I thought that I'd look through the library as I walked past, and I seen a young lad playing a video game on the computer. And it striked me, and I went into the library, and he was playing RuneScape. I asked him what game he was playing, and he said Runescape. And I said, how do I play it? And he said, you got to make an account. And that's all she wrote, really. This little guy called John, he was playing RuneScape in the library, and it started from there, really. It
And
took my life ever since.
yeah. So what year was that around?
That was late 2003 on the RuneScape 2
Okay.
beta.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And I actually didn't have my own PC until about early 2004. I'd have to go around friend's house or the library to play RuneScape.
Wow. The good old days.
Yeah,
So
very
what
different times.
I guess what was like so did you play up until old school at that time? Like or did you take breaks?
So my playtime was from the year 2003 to 2007, and then I quit for 6 years, and I came back for old school RuneScape.
Wow. You know what's crazy about 2007 is like
Mm,
I as well. I quit for 8 years. I I played
wow.
back then from 2004 to 2007. Totally quit,
Right.
which is so weird because you think about it now, it's almost like nothing could really make a person quit RuneScape. But that event of getting rid of free trade in the wilderness was just actually game
Oh,
breaking. It completely
def
destroyed the game for so many kids.
definitely. Well, for me, the killer was the graphics update. I've always liked the original RuneScape 2 graphics. It was the graphics, it was summoning, it was definitely the removal of free trade and PKing, even though I didn't really PK. It's just kind of off-putting, upsetting a lot of the player base, isn't it?
Yep.
Um, I quit for various reasons in 2007. Um, but yeah, in the 6 years that I quit, I would always think to myself every now and then, man, I could never go back to RuneScape. What the hell was I thinking playing that game 15 hours a day or whatever, ruining and wasting my childhood time on it? Now I'm playing it for a living. Now I've done 5 years.
Yeah.
It's mad.
Insane.
Madness.
So
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious. Did you ever follow RuneScape when you didn't play? Were you like kind of keeping up
No.
to date at all, or just?
Not really. Not at all. It's actually kind of tragic because I don't remember how I discovered old school RuneScape and how it was going to be a thing. I can't remember.
But it just was a thing. You just logged in one day. Was it on
Yeah,
release? Did you log in?
I did. I logged in the first day, but I legit can't recall how I found out about it.
Wow. So how
Which is a
was
shame.
that? Okay, so I did not play the beginning of old school, and I want to hear the rig story of logging in the first day. What was going through your mind?
Wow. A whole wave of emotions, really, man. Honestly, the first couple of weeks of old school RuneScape, it just felt like it was 2004, 2005 again, when the game was still quite fresh. Everybody was walking around with staffs and robes and bronze armor and iron armor. No one could teleport, so everybody was walking around using paths, etc. All of the map was populated, wasn't it? Now we're in concentrated areas. It felt amazing, bro. It really did. It felt like people were learning the game again. There was no whips in the game. There was barely any rune in the game, or none at all. There was no dragon items. Everybody was just shit, basically, and I liked that.
Yeah. I wish I could have played.
One thing is for sure, though, when I first started playing old school RuneScape, I was just keeping it casual. But as the days went on, the more and more I played. I went for 50 all stats, and then I went for 80 all stats, and I went for 99, one at a time after 80 all stats. Yeah.
What I guess, how do I word this? What rank were you when you did max, or how many people had max before you, I should ask?
30 players. I was the 31st to max, I think.
Wow.
And I was holding down a job at that particular time.
That's impressive.
Worked for about 4 hours a day. I think I probably could have been top 20 to max if I was a complete neat.
So what was the driving factor for maxing?
I had nothing else better to do with my time. Simply that. I had nothing else going on in my life at that particular time, man.
What was I can totally understand that, which is probably simply how a lot of people end up maxing, is there's nothing else going on. I'm just curious, what was, I guess, the motivation to max instead of going for anything else in the game? Because there was no max cape and there was no...
I guess I was a rank chaser back then, I can't lie. I was kind of obsessed with seeing how far I could push myself and how many hours a day I could play and what's the max rank I could achieve. I definitely was quite more competitive back then. I'm not competitive at all these days, but back in the 2013, late 2013 to mid 2015 times, I was a rank chaser for sure.
Yeah. No, and that's what a lot of people initially met you as just a top page player that was going for XP.
Yeah. I was front page for many, many years. I was top 10 for quite a long time, but I think my peak rank was rank 6, right? And after I got rank 6, that's it. I started to lose ranks after that. And I thought, well, I may as well just take it easy now. I've done the best I could. Staying on the front page for many, many years, you become like a well-oiled machine. You play a defending game and not attacking game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's stressful, man.
Yeah.
It turned the game into stress instead of leisure.
So
that's what. Go ahead.
I guess I'm curious because you say like it leads to stress, but did you enjoy that kind of aspect of like, I don't know, it almost feels like there is, I know it's RuneScape obviously, but it almost feels like there's a purpose to like grinding at that point instead of just, it's not just a game anymore. It's more like defending.
A chore?
Yeah. Well, it's a chore, but at the same time, it it like motivates you to play, like, I have to keep this rank. So obviously it might be unhealthy, but at the same
Yeah.
time, did that?
Well,
Yeah.
I have always been an inefficient player. Even, I've never played efficiently. I just like to play the game in an AFK, really chill kind of way. So that actually was what really led it to straining my life because I was inefficient when I was a higher rank. I had to play more to compete with the people that were more efficient than me. That meant that I sacrificed meals and I didn't even shower for 3-4 days at a time. I have to be brutally honest. I was just trying to grind all of the XP that I could. For a long time, I literally lived off toast and cereal.
That's
It was
insane.
really bad. All because of a number on a video game when I look back at it now.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
life
yeah, man.
that's the life some people live for video games.
Yeah.
And you've lived it.
Oh, yeah. I've lived it, and that's that. I got rank 6. I'm happy with that, but now I lead a very different lifestyle, man.
So I want to hear about the transition that led you from
Mm.
a what was the total XP on your main that you ended up
Nearly
with?
3 billion.
Nearly 3 bill XP. And then
Yeah.
and then the transition to a hardcore Ironman that is a restricted account. Can you tell the audience the process? Like what was going through your mind?
Right.
Why did you choose that?
So when I was chasing 200 mils on my main and going for a high rank, I always said to myself, even way back then, that I would just get the 200 mils that I enjoy getting. Okay. And I would just think of something else to do after that. So I got all of the 200 mils that I wanted. The last 200 mil was prayer on my main. I actually had no idea what I wanted to do after that. And I was kind of panicking, and being a streamer, it's kind of a tense thing when you don't know what's next, and your viewers are asking you what's next, and you don't know. And I remember one person linked me a YouTube video in my stream, and he said, "Hey Rig, this guy's playing like it was 2005. Check him out." And I thought that's quite interesting, so I clicked on it after the stream and I watched it, and he went by the name of Rog. Do you know who he is?
No, I've never heard of
Rog.
it.
Rog. I think Rargh. That's how you spell his name. He's a RuneScape YouTuber. He's from America, and he basically played the game like it was 2005. And I watched a few of his episodes, and I thought to myself, I could do this. I lived through them years. I loved the old school times where it was more simplistic. That's what really sparked the idea of my 05 hardcore Iron Man.
Were you
I just felt like
Yeah, no.
I fell out of the main life, really, and I just wanted to appreciate the game more. When I was playing my main and when I was on my last 200 moves, I didn't really appreciate the game as much as I should be. Whereas on my Iron Man, if I get a Sapphire drop or a Emerald drop or a Gold Bar drop, I appreciate it 100 times more.
Oh yeah.
On my main, I wouldn't even give a crap about it.
Yep. Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, you don't play as a normal Iron Man, but you definitely now understand how like Iron Man mode it's a completely different experience.
Absolutely. It just made me love the game more. It made me appreciate the game more. I'm still like a little schoolboy, like when I'm not streaming, pardon me, or if I'm away in town getting some food shopping done, I'll be thinking in my mind what I need to do on my Iron Man. But I never had that with my main because the gameplay is more simplistic. For me, the way I play.
Yeah.
And
it's more repetitive. At this point in the game, you have so many things to do.
I got a lot of stuff to do, for sure.
So, was there ever, I guess, a time when you were playing a main that... So, like you said, you were going for 200 mils, and I remember that was your goal, even back when I watched you. Like, you were a 200 mil chaser.
Yeah. That's right.
Was there ever a thought in your mind that you would go for 200 mil all? Or
Never.
Was it always just the next one, like the next 200 mil?
Always the 200 moves that I just wanted to get. All of the easy AFK, decent XP ones. I never declared I'd go for 200 mil because the way I play, it would probably take me like 20 or 30 years, I don't think I'm even halfway to 200 mil on my main.
Really?
Even though I have like 10 or 11. Nah, I'm not.
Wow.
It took me a long time.
I remember thinking okay, so another little story about you first starting streaming. You doing Abyss Natures. So this is back when I was more newbie.
Right.
And I just remember seeing your XP at like 88 mil, 89 mil, 90 mil, all the way up to
Yep.
100, and thinking, this man is like so dedicated. Like, I don't understand, because I had never seen a streamer really that was so unique. So I remember watching like Automelogy, Randalicious occasionally, just these big skillers.
Yeah.
But you had a completely different vibe to like the way you grinded, and it was how do I put it? It was just intriguing almost that you were so just kind of dedicated. I don't know. There was just something about like those good old days where you were grinding it, and it inspired me, and I imagine it inspired other people to grind, because it was so unique.
Well, back then there wasn't many skiller streamers. There was me.
There was
There was
not.
Automelogy.
Yeah.
There was Randelicious. And then Jace came along a couple of months later. Also Zulu, John.
Yeah,
It was
it
only
felt
like
like
five
you
skillers.
three. It felt like you three, you, Jason, Zulu, were around the same time.
Dare I say, me, Jason, Zulu, we were the first to make skilling streaming happen full time.
I really felt that way. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Was that like almost? It almost felt planned, at least in my foggy mind. It was almost like you
Pure coincidence.
like you, Zulu, and Jace all kind of came around, and you just kind of
We did.
you guys sprouted up fast too.
It was pure coincidence. The person that inspired me to stream though was Automelogy. You know, the beastie miner. I always thought to be a streamer, you needed to be very energetic and loud and really good at PVM and PKing until I watched Automelogy, you know, a very calm, tranquil, peaceful skiller, you know, did tick manipulating with mining. I watched him and I thought, hey, he's really calm and chill like me and he does skilling. Maybe I could make it happen.
What are your thoughts on Automelogy?
He's an inspiration. He's a one of a kind. I love him to pieces. He did a lot for me back in the day and he used to host me a lot. I don't think Autumn ever deserved the hate that he got for his opinions. He only wanted good for the game.
I agree.
Yeah. I like Caleb.
Yeah,
Always have done.
I remember watching his quarry streams back when he was going for rank 1 mining.
Legendary, man.
Those were
Hell yeah.
quality streams. There was something very special about the beginning of old school where people didn't have 200 mils in certain skills.
That's right. The high scores were more interesting back then,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
because no one had 200 mils. Not a lot of people had 99s. I'd keep my eye on it more in them times, but not anymore, really.
Yeah. No, do you almost feel like, I guess you play completely differently now and you don't focus on this stuff anymore, but what, like, do you almost feel as though skilling maybe, I guess competitive skilling may be coming to an end simply because the high scores are almost entirely filled out?
That's a really good question, I guess. I think the front page is all 200 mil all now, aren't they?
Front page, I think there's like 5 more spots to fill or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Might be the case.
Because I remember
Might be the
nobody
case.
had 200 mil all, and then Lynx got it, and I was like, oh, there's years and years until the rest of it fills out.
Yeah, there's 18 people now with 200 mil all. Yeah, it's wild. But yeah, you're right. I think as more people get 200 mil all, maybe there'll be less desire for rank chasing just because all of the slots are filled up. But skilling's very different these days. As the years go by, the more efficient the players get, the more strenuous it is.
Oh, yeah. And you were a non-alt user as well.
Oh, yeah. I never abused alts. Never, ever, ever. I only made the money from my main, from nature rune crafting and whatnot. It was a very different time for skillers back when I was front page and top 10. Different times. You could be inefficient and make front page.
Yeah.
I'm the living proof.
It was the same with Iron Man. Iron Man mode initially, like MMORPG, was top page, top 10 even. And he was, he didn't skill. He just happened to max and would just
That's right.
PM. And nowadays, if you want to hit top page as an Iron Man, you have to be a dedicated skiller.
And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. As the years go by, people are just more polished with the methods when they come to gaming. But I will always be stuck in my ways. You know, when it comes to RuneScape, I play it to chill out. I play it for the low APM, you know.
Yeah.
I play it to AFK, baby. That's it, really. That's what always appealed to me with RuneScape. Just chilling out, you know, not doing stressful things.
And I felt that even back in 2016. You were just chilling. You did
Yeah.
your thing.
I'm still chilling today. I just finished the stream and I literally just smelted silver bars the whole time. That's it. I'll never change, man.
So I'm curious, was there ever a player that you were in direct competition with, or you felt on the same kind of, I don't know, like you played similar hours, and so that was like a direct competition or anything? Did you ever have that?
Mini Finbar. I competed with him, and I was actually quite a very to myself person when I was a front pager, and I remember a lot of the other skillers on the front page always wondered who I was. I was quite the enigma back in the day, baby. I didn't talk with anyone. I wasn't in any clans. I just did my own thing, and it made people wonder about me. And I remember Mini Finbar, when I was approaching him in his rank, he would add me and ask me how many hours a day do I play and whatnot. I eventually passed him. There was another person who I was competitive with, but I won't say his name just because of drama. I cooked with him, and I was 2 ranks away from him. And he said, "What's after cooking?" And I said, "Your rank." And I took his rank about 4 days later. But I won't say his name though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I was competitive.
do you miss that kind of competition? I know
No.
overall, it's probably not a thing you miss with the way you played. But...
Do I miss it? No, not one bit. Do I regret it? No, I don't regret any single second of playing them times, because everything happens for a reason at the end of the day. Maybe if I didn't play like that back in the day, I wouldn't be what I am right now, you know, a nice, comfortable, full-time streamer.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
And especially that you don't regret it, because
I don't regret it whatsoever, you know.
there's no point regretting anything.
Yeah.
There's things to learn from, but yeah, regretting is...
That's right. Back then, all I cared about was RuneScape. I didn't really have any hobbies, baby. I didn't really go outside. I relied on my mum a lot. I was mentally very, very troubled. I had a lot of inner rage from my past. I was very insecure. I projected a lot. Diet was terrible. These days, though, bro, I have so much inner peace. So much inner peace. And my diet at some point, I eat fruit and veggies every single day. I weigh a lot more. Yeah, I'm just very thankful who I am these days.
That's awesome.
It was dark times back then, brother. Dark times.
What made you start streaming?
It was automelody. Yeah, automelody. As I said about 10 minutes ago, I thought maybe I could make it work. I'm a calm guy. He's a calm guy. He just skilling. I could make it work. And Randelicious too. He was an inspiration. I always used to ask Randy on the Hexus team speak, "Randy, do you think I can get partner?" And he'd be like, "You'll get it." He'd say that over and over again to me. And it always comforted me. You'll get it. I got it in the end.
God. Yeah, how long was it until you got partnered from your first stream?
Let me go back though. What made me start streaming? Automelody was the inspiration, but I remember the trigger was to finally click go live, you know, download OBS and go live. I was unemployed for about 7 months or so. And in that 7 months, I was living off of savings, and I was no life in RuneScape and chasing ranks. And I thought to myself, well, I'm not doing anything. Maybe I can just try streaming, see if anyone will come and talk to me. I certainly didn't do it for the money at the start. I'm full-time, so of course money is very important now, but back then I didn't start streaming with money in mind. I thought I'd probably get like 2 viewers or something. So I clicked go live, and slowly but surely I had this little community around me that would talk to me every day and ask me how I was doing. It's crazy, man.
You seem like a very talkative person, and like
these days.
Even back then, I felt like you were decently outgoing. I never felt like you were shy, really.
Oh, I don't know, man. I guess I was fronting back then, though, baby. You know,
Was that
a bit
it?
of pretend. I was very insecure the first like 2 years of streaming, man.
Wow,
Very insecure.
pulled it off pretty
and
well.
shy. Oh yeah, I'm a good actor, bro. I'm very deceiving. very deceiving. But back then I was shy. Man, when I started streaming, I heard people calling me names that I've never heard before. I didn't really know how to handle it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
mad.
Beginning streaming is
Oh yeah.
so uncomfortable. You can have the most uncomfortable moments of all time because you don't know how to handle it. You've
When
never
you
been in that
start
experience.
streaming, when you start streaming, no one's banned.
Yep. Yep. No,
Yeah.
I was saying this over in a different Sae Bae Cast. I was talking about how beginning streaming, you can't just outright ban people for them
No.
trolling. You don't know how
Well,
to. And the other thing is you don't want to lose viewers because like you're
no.
trying to grow something.
Ah, man, it brings me back a memory when the early days of streaming, the first month, sometimes I'd get like 5 viewers. And I remember the only person that would be talking in the chat was a toxic person, but I kept him there just because he was the only person talking.
I feel I no,
Uh,
I see it to this day. I will sometimes browse the old school section because I remember when I first started streaming, I kid you not, it sounds cringe, but I would almost wait for the day where like a partnered streamer would come find my stream or something and then like interact with me
yeah,
because for the first 3 months I was averaging 3 to 4 viewers
yeah,
and I just couldn't get any exposure. And so I remember thinking, if I ever got a little bit bigger, I'm going to be that
yeah,
person that goes into the browse section and goes finds like little streamers and like
yeah,
makes their day. And so, but I've seen it where I go into a stream, some guy has like 3 viewers and the only active viewer is
mm,
trolling him, but it's not to the point of like total harassment, but it's almost edging that line. So it's like you can't actually outright ban him because then he'll ask, "What did I do?" Like, what did I do?
yeah.
But oh, I feel so uncomfortable in those situations.
Some viewers are very clever. They know like your limits, and they'll be at the very end of that limit,
It's
where they
pain.
know you're not going to ban them.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
would you recommend to a person that's starting out streaming in those situations? Is there anything to recommend?
Hey, I'm going to be blunt. If you don't like them, ban them. Simple as that. If you don't like their vibe, if you don't like the way they're talking, you're not really, something like that, just ban them, bro. So you have the choice, just how a viewer has the choice to click and watch your stream. You have the choice if he wants to talk in your chat.
Yeah. It's a lot
Yeah,
easier when you're a little bit bigger for sure because you can just laugh it off. Let's just feel
definitely,
so.
definitely. You have many, many lessons to learn when you're a new streamer. I love a lot. It took me years of attunement, years and years of attunement, bro, to get to where I am right now. As a streamer, as a person, I'm very different compared to how I was in the early days. Yeah.
What have you learned? What is like what are like the top 3 things you've learned since streaming, I guess?
Um, Top three things I've learned since streaming. This is a great question, baby. Holy fuck. I would say self-control. Um, Two would be inner peace. Three would be a better role model for sure. I could go on and on actually, to be fair, with other lessons that I've
Yeah.
learned. Yeah. I mean, I don't really want to blame anything. When I first started streaming, bro, I was a very questionable person, man. I really was. I said a lot of questionable things. Um, oh yeah, you probably remember the old days, bro.
Yeah, no,
But I tie it down to my past. I really do, bro. When I was a child, I was physically, mentally, verbally abused in the household that I lived in. School was rough, and I just carried that with me for many, many years. I had so much inner rage. I thought the whole world was against me. And when I first started streaming, I was just a very passive aggressive. Well, I'm still passive aggressive, but not as much as I used to be. But I was a passive aggressive, toxic, very angry person who had a lot of issues, and I was ready to take it out on people. Gotta be honest, man. And as I started streaming and as the years went by, I just slowly learned that not everyone's out to get me. There's good people in the world, man. Streaming made me into a much better person, man. I have the old school RuneScape community to thank. I was deluded, bro. I was deluded in my early times. I didn't have anybody to tell me what I was doing wrong or what I was doing right. So I had to learn the hard way through the community.
yeah.
I've always been a person, even when I was in my early stages, I've always been a person that's wanted to improve, wanted to become a better person, but I've always needed the help of other people to get me there.
I think that's beautiful that you've grown. You've grown a lot since
Oh,
I remember watching you. I will say,
for sure.
however, I was I knew I feel like I knew who you were as starting out, even if you were troubled and whatnot, and even if you had said things
I
on stream
I
that were
was
a little
I was
iffy.
silly. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was silly, bro. I said questionable things. I was just someone in his very raw form,
yeah, and
you know.
I loved it. I loved you for who you were, and
My heart was always in the right place that I meant well,
I
even
believe
though I
it.
was silly a lot of times.
I
I was
believe it.
25 then, man. Yeah, I'm 30 now. A lot of time has passed.
Can you believe it's been 5 years?
I can't, baby. I can't. It's a lot of time. It feels like it's gone by in the blink of an eye, but that's good. Time flies when you're having fun, and with streaming, bro, it's my everything. I love it to pieces. It makes me feel complete. 5 years down the line, I still wake up and I still say, I can't wait to stream. What are we going to talk about today? Who am I going to inspire? Who's going to inspire me? What am I going to learn? What am I going to teach people?
So now that 5 years have passed, what do you hope and what do you aspire to, I guess, accomplish in the next 5 years of streaming or content creation? What do you look forward to?
Honestly, I don't really have a sub goal. I don't have a follower goal. I just hope in 5 years' time, I'm still able to go live, still able to talk to people, and still able to make my way through life financially with streaming. That's it, really.
That's
I
awesome.
just hope in 5 years' time, it is the way it is right now. As silly as it sounds, bro, I want to stream for the rest of my life. I couldn't think of anything better.
It's weird that we live in a time where nobody really knows what happens when you get older as
Yeah,
a streamer because we're in the first generation of it.
we are.
I,
Yeah, I think we
I
started at the right time.
I feel that way too. And you know what's interesting is I think I brought up this
Mhm.
analogy before, but you think of professional sports athletes who are
Right.
like sports athletes until a certain time. They've probably already made enough money to live off of, but then they can almost be the commentators of
That's
these
right.
younger sports, and it's almost like being a streamer. As a streamer, imagine this like 5 years down the road. Let's just say streaming kind of fades for
Yeah.
you, but you can be like it almost this might sound cringe, but you could be a streaming coach or you could be a I know that sounds weird, but like
No,
you
I
could
hear you. I hear
seriously
you.
like people will probably see you and like, wow, okay, we've seen 10 years of your content. Like
Yeah.
I want you to like almost train me, or even better, you could be like your own. I mean, you have influence. That's the thing. You're a streamer. You've had
I
so
guess.
many people know who you are, Rig. Like
Yeah.
you're massive. And
Oh, I don't know about massive. I don't know, baby.
if you
Thank you,
asked
though, bro.
anybody, if I asked anybody in the game who Rigondeaux is, I bet 90, I mean, depends on noobs or bots and stuff, but like, I bet the majority of people would know who you are. And I think
I
that's
would
really
class
cool.
myself as a medium to small streamer. When I think massive, I think of Boaty and Alkan and Po Freedom, these types of giants, But I think I'm probably middle. Maybe. I think I'm probably more well known for the Rex Bro meme, baby. That's more famous than I am. They
Yeah.
don't know me, but they know the phrase Rex, bro. One thing's for sure, baby, about 5 years down the line, even if streaming was to fail me, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, who knows what I'll be doing, but one thing's what I will be thinking, I was capable of something. Even if it fizzled out, I would look back at these times and say, hey, Rig, you can do something. You made something out of nothing, and you can do it again.
That's awesome. I, yeah,
Yeah,
I think that I feel like building something of your own can build a lot of confidence in future endeavors as well.
definitely. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Uh, I want to get into a couple Twitter topics that we got.
Whew.
So, first, first one, um,
Right.
is from Ben, and he asks, which year... Oops. I put on the wrong thing. Okay, there we go. Which year of OSRS was your favorite, and what was or is your favorite grind in the game?
Wow. Great question. What year was my favorite RuneScape year? I would say 2013, because we were all innocent and learning our ways again, leveling up and grinding out for so many things. 2013 was my favorite year when the game was still very, very plain. My favorite grind in the game ever thus far. It's either 100 mil RC or the Daganov King grinds.
Are you still rank 1 in DKs? I know you were rank 1 for all of them but one, and then you did get rank 1 for Rex, I believe.
I was rank 1 all for about a year, and about a month or two ago, someone passed me for Rex, I think, but I'm still rank 1 in the other two. But to this day, I'm still the only player that's been able to get rank 1 of all the DKs. No one's done it yet, apart from me.
I don't know who it was on Twitter, but when boss high scores came out, people were like memeing that Rig was the best PVMer in the game because he had the most rank 1s. You had like Jad and all DKs or something.
I'm literally the worst player in the game, baby. I'm terrible. I'm just a grinder. That's all I am. I literally have no skill in this game. I'm just a grinder. I tell you one thing that I'm good at, setting a goal and not giving up. That's all I'm good at.
That's huge, though. That's way more than...
It's just dedication, but I don't have any skill. But I don't care about that. It doesn't bother me. You know? I leave the skill for people like Wooks. Yeah. You know, I'm just a casual player, man. That's how I like it.
I bet a lot of players can relate, because there are a lot of players that like to play this game reclined, and when they see this kind of almost toxicity toward... Because we saw it when the Infernal Cape came out, where a few years down the road, if you didn't have an Infernal Cape, you'd get those questions all the time, like, "Where's Infernal?" Like, I'm just trying to enjoy the game.
I think Inferno to this day is a big problem when it comes to elitism. There's players in this game that, you know, expect everybody to have an Inferno Cape, and if you haven't, what are you doing? You know, when literally about 0.2% of the game has an Inferno Cape and the rest don't, you know?
Yeah.
But Inferno is a great piece of content. Even though I haven't completed it, my best wave was 60 or 61. I think it's one of the greatest bits of content to ever come out in old school RuneScape. Great challenge.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, it created a lot of toxicity, baby. A lot of toxic players spawned from that mini game.
Yeah.
It's as though some people will get an Inferno Cape and immediately, when they set foot out of the desert area, right? Who the fuck doesn't have an Inferno Cape?
It's the same thing with a Fire Cape, just on a different level. Where as soon as you get your Fire Cape, you look at people without a Fire Cape, and you're like, "What are you doing?"
It's just not that deep.
It isn't. It isn't as deep. That
I know. I know it sounds really cringy, but I don't look at what people are wearing. I just want to know what type of person they are.
Well, that's respectable.
It's just a video game at the end of the day. Even though it's a lifestyle for many of us, it's just a video game.
Yeah.
You can't be toxic or very rude to people just because they don't have a certain item in this video game. It's preposterous. It's insane. But it is what it is. It's RuneScape after all. Yeah. You know, it attracts many interesting people.
Okay. So this is an interesting question. Manic asks, what is your favorite piece of jewelry or accessory? And how did the nickname the Golden Man, he says the Golden Boy, come to be?
Right. I know this as clear as glass, how I got this nickname. So, a year or so before I started streaming, I was grinding crafting, I think. It was either 200 mil craft or 200 mil herb. I'm losing track these days. But anyway, I was grinding a 1414 skill to 200 mil in the GE. Pardon me. And I used to log into a certain world every day. I can't remember the world because it was like 5 years ago. And there used to be a group of lads that would chill with me, beside me, and fanboy me because I was like rank 7 or rank 6. And I had my full gilded armor on, my gilded med helm, the iconic plate body, legs, boots, just pure gold. And after a while, they started calling me Goldman or Golden Man. And that's how I acquired the nickname. It just stuck with me. The whole G would just call me Golden Man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's how the nickname came to be. And my favorite jewelry, I literally have 4 rings. That's it. One's got a scorpion engraved onto it. One has my gilded med helm engraved into it. And the other one is a tiger's eye ring that my mother gave me. And the 4th one is a family ring. My favorite one would probably have to be the gilded med helm ring. It means many, many things. Success, who I am, and so much more.
All right.
But wait, I must say, people seem to think that I'm a gold fanatic. I'm not really. I like gold. I think it's very attractive. But I'm not obsessed with it. I'm not insane about gold. But I do like bling. Not really into chains and design. I went through a phase like in 2017 where I would wear a bit of designer. I despise designer now. You won't catch me dead wearing that, but I will always like my rings, and that's that.
Okay.
No fleshy belts or chains, etc.
I guess to expand on it, Duck Chris asks, you're well known as a sharp dresser, and I can agree with that.
That I am.
Who are your fashion inspirations?
Myself. I don't look at others and go, wow, I want to dress like him. I'll literally try on clothes in the mirror, and I'll think to myself if it looks good or not. I hope that doesn't sound too big-headed, but I don't really get inspiration from others. It just comes from within.
Interesting.
What I want to wear.
Interesting. Yeah.
But back in like 2017, 16, I went through a phase where I wore designer quite a lot, and when I look back at that, I would say that's the thing that I genuinely regret. Something that I am vastly disappointed in myself for doing. And can you remember that, baby, when I used to wear all of these fucking flashy clothes, like Versace belts and all of this stuff?
I thought it was the most... I thought you were... I kid you not. I would spend a lot of time on Twitch. I thought you were the most unique person I'd ever seen. And I didn't have any judgment toward it because I watched you initially. I will say this. I do sometimes prejudge people. You're one of those exceptions where I watched you initially. I kind of learned who you are, and then anything after I was like, you know what? That's just rig.
That really wasn't me. That designer stuff. I'll tell you exactly why I bought them designer clothes back then. They're all eBayed, by the way, now. Like, I don't own none of it. None of it fits me anymore anyway. I've gained a few pounds. But anyway, before streaming, I didn't really have a penny to my name, and I never did. I was always broke. A lot of the times I had no money to even go to the shop and buy a chocolate bar. But as soon as streaming came around, baby, when people were being very, very, very generous to me, I thought, wow, maybe I could buy some clothes and look good for once instead of wearing tattered, tracksuit clothing that's gone from black to brown. And I guess I was just kind of deluded, man, and a little bit insecure. And I went to town and I'd buy nice clothes and whatnot just to feel better about myself. But it's not really the way to go. You don't need designer clothes to feel better about yourself. That was just my own experience at the time. One thing I would say too is that it was incredibly disrespectful, me buying designer clothes. Way, way disrespectful. For me to stream for like 5 hours and people, generously donate me £300 just for me to walk into Hugo Boss or Paul Smith and blow it all. Dreadful, man. Dreadful, man. Designer is a fool's game. It really is. You don't need $1 million to look $1 million.
Wow.
I despise designer. I'm a different person now. I despise it.
Yeah, you definitely have grown. Because, to be fair, I never really made much of it. I never thought too much into it. Why? But
if a viewer is giving you money, I would like to think that they are giving you money to improve your life or to improve the stream, and that's that. The only thing that I spend my money on now is really good food, as one should, if they have the ability to buy good food. I put the rest away for a mortgage or another place to rent. That's it.
Yeah, I agree with
or
you.
Travel. That's it. Should not be It should not be spent on t-shirts that cost £200, etc. That's insanity. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on designer.
Yeah. No, I had no idea that that's how you felt about it, and so that is
Despise it.
interesting. And I think, I think that's humble of you to kind of recognize that.
Yeah,
You have grown a lot.
definitely.
So, I guess another question I have is, you look really healthy as of late. You just look more filled out, and I feel like I guess I'm gonna ask, like, what led to that transition of you
Wow.
getting to a healthier weight?
This is a great question. Holy shit, you're on fire, baby. Calm down, man.
Thanks.
Anyway, what inspired me to eat healthier? So, when I started streaming and I started to gain a little bit of extra change, and I was able to do stuff with my life, I was a very to myself person. I would stay indoors a lot. When streaming came along and people being very generous to me, God bless all the viewers, I thought to myself, well, maybe I could take a trip out somewhere. Let's try for change. Instead of being cooped up in this dark room all day, let's catch a train somewhere, explore a different city, etc. Slowly but surely, I became more outgoing. I desired more of the outside. I desired more balance in my life. Video games are cool, but going out is cool too. And every now and then, I'd just go into a store and get some strawberries, some bananas, tuna, etc. And it all started from there, slowly going out more and going to supermarkets and traveling, etc. Just venturing out, baby. That's it, really. And as the years went on, the more of a fat fuck I became,
I do remember when you got into, you had a little phase where where you got into baking. I
Yeah.
don't know if you still bake.
I had to put down the tray, baby. Baking cookies kind of got out of hand. I would be baking cookies like once every 2 weeks, and I must say my cookies are amazing. Okay,
They look good.
They're incredible. Every person that tries them, they melt away, and that's my own worst enemy, really. So I had to stop baking them, baby, because I was putting on quite a few pounds.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it was. I think it's cool to explore that. I'm glad you also recognize maybe like eating
Yep.
this many sweets. Maybe you should chill, but
Especially now that I'm
life.
30.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
30
yeah,
and my
no,
metabolism.
yeah, metabolism definitely slows. I started noticing my metabolism slowing down when I hit
Yeah.
25.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I've got to be really careful. When I was 24, 25, I weighed about 110 pounds to 120. Now I'm 160. I'm
Yeah.
a lot heavier. Hell of a lot heavier.
And now you actually have to watch what you eat. Like,
I do.
For me, from 21 to 24, I could eat whatever I wanted, whenever.
Yep.
I could eat McDonald's at 1 a.m. for 5 days in a row in college. Be totally fine.
Yeah, if I eat a muffin right now, insta dad bod. Yep.
Yeah, it happens. But hey, I mean, that's just life. There's no real. I don't feel like it's bad to
Yeah.
have some sweets and stuff. But
My diet's half and half. Half of my diet's really healthy. Half of it's kind of junk and cheating.
But you enjoy it, I hope.
Absolutely. Yeah, food's a great pleasure. Yeah. I want the best of both worlds.
So, what was the moment in just going back to streaming? What was the first moment when you realized I can do this? Like, this is my new thing. Like, this is what I can like kind of live off of.
I would say when I got partnered, about 4 months into streaming, when you had to acquire the sub button by being partnered. Yeah. I mean, before being partnered, I would get donations and whatnot, but being partnered, knowing that you're connected with something, you're a part of something now, I would say that's when I realized that I could probably maybe one day do it full time.
That's so awesome. That is so many people's dreams of becoming a content creator in something they absolutely love. So, and I saw a tweet. I don't know who it was. I honestly can't. I think it might have been you and Foe talking at a RuneFest or something. You saying like how
That's
great
right.
it is. Is that it? Was it Foe?
Yeah, it was Fo. I said, we're living the dream, aren't we, Paul? As we were on our way to Runefest on the bus. And he said, yeah, Rig, I hope I never wake up.
That is
Very powerful
awesome.
words, man.
Yeah.
I think we're living in a much more different world, though, when it comes to streaming. If you ask young kids what they want to be now when they grow up, it's either a YouTuber or a streamer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Or a singer or something.
that's
Like
right.
something that's you're getting something like you're building your own name basically.
It's it's definitely gonna be. It's way more harder now, and it's gonna keep getting harder to become a full-time streamer. Not to be a pessimistic person, but it's just the reality. It's a dream job at the end of the day, baby, to be able to stream, from your bedroom and make a living and whatnot. It's crazy. It's like cheating life.
It
It is a
really
dream. It really
yeah.
is.
So I want to ask you on the flip side, what are the stresses that people don't know about being a streamer?
Stresses of being a streamer. I would say I have quite a solid mind frame when it comes to streaming. If I have a low sub count, it is what it is. If I have a low view count, it is what it is. I don't have a schedule. I could stream at 7 in the morning, I could stream at 7 p.m. That makes the view count and whatnot fluctuate, the activity of the chat.
Absolutely.
So I've never really bothered with it, and I'm quite blessed in that regard. I can't say names and whatnot, but private talks I've had with streamers where they're stressing over the view count and the sub count is quite a cruel hole to be sucked into, where you're constantly stressing over your sub count and viewer count.
Yeah.
What stresses me out with streaming, though, not much really, baby. Honestly, I'm quite content, as unrealistic as that may seem.
I'm happy for
I'm all
you
good.
because that is
Yeah,
so rare
yeah.
to hear.
I don't even know what my sub count is. The last time I checked, when someone typed exclamation mark subs, it was 600. But even if it was like 300, 400, I just don't give a fuck. There's no point stressing over it. You can't control the view count.
Yeah.
You can't control the sub count. So why should I worry about it?
It's a good point. It is.
I've been doing it for 5 years, So if something's working. May as well not stress about it.
Yeah, it is definitely something that's so easy to stress about, and anybody that's ever streamed
Yeah.
before can definitely attest to that.
I think probably where I live right now definitely helps too, because I'm from Nottingham, baby. It's a shithole, okay? Bluntly put. Where I live right now, the rent is only £450 a month. So it's not like I'm paying expensive rent per month.
Yeah,
Maybe if my rent was higher and whatnot, maybe I would be stressing over the sub count and shit like that, which is, yeah.
yeah. I am
I'm
also
quite blessed.
I'm blessed to be living in Alabama, the Conaville of
Yeah.
the USA, and
The prices down there, hey?
I've lived here for 2 years. Yeah, the prices are cheap. I've been sharing an apartment for the past like almost a year and a half with my two brothers, IRL brothers,
How much is that a month?
and our apartment's $1,000 a month, and so we're splitting it. It's $333 a month.
Oh, you're laughing.
Yeah.
You're laughing.
Oh, and I just think
Phew.
I think as a streamer, this is the best place to live because
Yeah.
what would be the point of going to like LA or something where it's like you're not making any more? Because like if you worked a normal
Yeah.
job and you got sent out to LA, you'd be making a lot more because the living.
That's right.
But as a streamer, you just want to live in the cheapest area possible.
My lifestyle isn't hectic anyway, baby. Like I said, the only thing I really spend my money on is the rent, the bills, the food, and that's about it. I'm not a party animal. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't drink alcohol. Live a very clean life, and I've never done anything like that. I've never been a clubber, partier. I've never actively drank alcohol or actively taken drugs or anything like that.
I'm the exact same way. Very
Yeah.
simple life, and it's a happy life.
It really is, man. I'm sober and I'm high off of streaming and life. Yeah, man.
All right. We kind of already covered this, but Thurko did ask a good question. He asked,
Shout out to Lee. What's up, man?
Yeah.
I just had to say that. God bless you, Lee. Congratulations on getting married, man.
oh yeah, big grats on that.
Oh yeah, his suit looks sharp, and so did the shoes.
They're such a cute couple.
They are. They are.
He asks, or I guess he says, maybe talk about the mental mindset shift that took him from skilling into PVM and then eventually hardcore Ironman. Was it something purely for content purposes as his channel grew, or more of an overall change in how he enjoyed the game?
No, it was all for me, really. As bad as it sounds, I stream whatever I want to stream, even if the viewers don't want it. I've got to be happy. If I'm happy, then the vibes are great. It just came to a point where I wasn't enjoying my main anymore. I'd done with all of the 200 mils that I wanted to get. It was time for a change. So I wanted to dip into Ironman, a whole new world. I played a main for nearly 1,000 days played time. You know?
That is insane.
Long time, baby. I just wanted a change, and it was the best change ever. Like an O5 Ironman, it's a very niche thing. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's mine. I genuinely love it.
That's awesome. Do you have any other plans? Let's just say, what are your end game goals for that account?
So right now I'm getting the glory in about 2 more days. That took a long time. I had to buy 17,000 silver ore from the blast furnace, but bank it in Kelder Grim because there was no bank in the blast furnace in 2005. God. That took a long time. The glory has been an absolute challenge. I've been chipping away at that. Right now I'm working on 85 Slayer for the whip, and then after that I'll be killing a few Cowfight Queen, and I want to get all of the rings from Dagannoth Kings. And that's about it. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's going to take me a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not even halfway through getting 85 Slayer right now. But after that, my plans. I have plans inside of my head, rough ideas of what I want to do, but I'm not ready to talk about it yet.
Okay. That's exciting.
But one thing's for sure, I will always be an Ironman. Whatever the next account is going to be, it will be an Ironman.
I'm happy to hear that because I have been a huge fan of Iron Man ever since I started playing a hardcore back in release.
I will never go back to a main. Mark my words. Never, ever.
So you have no plan to log, because I think there was another question. I also put the thread on my YouTube, and there was a few comments. One of them was, do you plan on ever playing your main again?
Nope.
Okay. I mean,
nope.
As a huge Iron Man fan, I am really happy to hear that because it is a completely different feel to the game.
It really is.
Especially when you're a non-alt user like you did in your main. The Iron Man just complements that so well.
It better suits my view of the game and my personality, playing an Iron Man.
I will say, selfishly, I would love you to play a normal Iron Man, but I understand you play very casually at this point. And
never say never.
I would be a huge...
Maybe one day I'll have inspiration to learn more about the game and reach into end game stuff. We'll see. You never know with me.
Yeah, and that's exciting that you have so many routes to take if you ever chose to. So
I certainly do, man. But right now it's quite the mystery of what I'm gonna do next.
Okay. Let's see. A cold one, kind of a meme question. As one of the Osrs OGs, how many marshmallows can you fit in your mouth?
I have never tried, and I don't think I will try.
All right. AddieCon says, comment on the passionate and timeless Rex, bro. That clip is one of the all-time most viewed clips on like OSR. It's just funny how something so simple as an overreaction to a pet could just go so viral.
A lot of people ask me, even to this day, was that reaction genuine or was it fake? Hand on my heart, it's how I felt at the time. I don't think I could ever react like that again. I don't know what overcome me that day. I think I was fucking possessed, baby. But I have no idea. I'm bipolar at the end of the day. God. Stuff happens.
Yeah, no.
Moods levitate sometimes.
I have clips where I've seen myself react to something. I'm like, holy hell, I gotta calm down. Like, that is so cringe. But I actually was laughing my ass off when I first watched that clip. I remember.
I mean, when someone forces me to watch it, I'm in agony. But at the end of the day, it brought a lot of joy to people's lives, and it's a famous meme in RuneScape. I can't complain.
Oh my god.
I can't complain, man. It's iconic, isn't it? Dare I say.
Off topic. Do you have a YouTube?
No. Well, I do, but it's it's not really active.
Do you ever plan to make YouTube?
No, I doubt it. I focus all of my energy into streaming.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not really my cup of tea, baby.
Yeah, no, that's
YouTube can't really be compared to Twitch. I'm not saying you're comparing it, but they're very different worlds.
Oh, absolutely.
YouTube is all about editing and planning and whatnot. Twitch is all about here and now.
Yeah.
That's what I prefer.
I was gonna say, I've always enjoyed your stories, your stories on whenever I can catch a live stream, and I think you're one of like the best storytellers. You are a very smooth talker, and I'm very envious of it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I struggle with. I'm a podcast host at this point, and yet I still struggle so much with enunciating and just trying to get my points across. And so I've always been very.
I didn't
envious.
even know. I had no idea that I was a good storyteller until I became a streamer. I had no idea.
I was gonna say, I think what would be really cool is if you did make, because something I do is I just make little rambles, very simple, no editing involved, just record something and just talk. And so personally, I would love it. I'd be an absolute fan if you were to make YouTube and just share how you're feeling about the game, what you're doing, just little progress things, 10 minutes of just you talking, and then upload it. I feel like it could be very popular.
Solid idea. Never say never with me. You never know what's around the corner. But even to this day, baby, people still come into my stream and be like, hey, Rig, do you have a story for us? Want to tell us a story? And I'll always say no when they request one, because I like to naturally tell my stories, not by request.
It has to be that way. It's got to be organic.
I can't just be like, well, once upon a time, after someone asked me. It has to come out naturally, man.
Maybe like Grandpa Rig in like a few decades when you're still streaming, you could be that guy that's talking about your younger days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to kind of talk about RuneFest. So I have never been to RuneFest. I would absolutely love to go one day. I want to hear about your experiences. How many times have you been to RuneFest?
I've been to every single one since 2016.
Is that 3 of them then, or 4?
16, 17, 18, 19. 4 of them.
Okay.
4 RuneFests.
What can you explain? Can you I want to hear it because I'm curious, but I imagine others are curious as well. What is your experience with RuneFest, and how, especially as a content creator, did it change for your first year going up until your last year going? The more you got more popular and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, RuneFest holds a special place in my heart for a particular reason and a particular story. 2016 is the year I started streaming, baby. And me being a streamer, I thought, wow, I'd like to go RuneFest and finally meet all of the streamers and whatnot. And September or so, 2016, I went to RuneFest. I didn't have much money. Didn't even have a hotel booked. As bad as it sounds, I made my way from Nottingham to London, about a 2.5-hour train journey. And I think at the time I only had about 300 followers, 400 followers. I was still up and coming. Well, I'm still up and coming to this day. And I remember getting there and meeting Boaty and Foe for the first time in Alkin and getting pictures with them. I really went to RuneFest as a viewer, even though I was a streamer. And it was a great time. I was quite tired. I only had about 2 hours of sleep, and I met many other people. It was a great time. But I remember at the end of RuneFest, all of the streamers getting in the van to go back to their hotel, what Jagex paid for. And there's me watching them all drive away in the van about midnight, and I'm stood there with nothing to do after RuneFest is coming to an end. And I literally wandered the streets of London all night homeless because I had nowhere to go. And I couldn't afford a place to stay, believe it or not. Yeah, it was crazy. I just paid for my ticket and food, and I made my way back at 8 a.m. the next day back to Nottingham. That was 2016 RuneFest, baby.
Holy shit.
On to the next RuneFest, 2017.
Okay, yeah.
I was invited by Jagex. I went to 2017 RuneFest. I lost count how many people came up to me and wanted things signed, pictures with me, etc. and Jagex paid for my hotel room that year.
That is so
I always
awesome.
think I always think about that when I think of RuneFest, how 2016 and 2017 was like day and night, how different they were. 2016 I went as a viewer, and 2017 I finally went as a streamer.
Wow.
At the end of 2017 RuneFest, I got in the van with the rest of the streamers back to the Hotel Bae.
That's pretty awesome. Just a year later.
Yeah, I wasn't wandering the streets
Yeah,
homeless for
that's
the night.
good.
It was crazy.
That's good.
And
Oh
as
my
the years
god.
have gone by, 2018, 2019, the second Room Fest, it only just got more out of control and hectic with how many people came and approached me.
Will you go to future Runefests when COVID is finally come to a close?
I would not miss it for the world.
That's awesome. What is the best part about Runefest?
Meeting new people. Yeah, meeting new people, man, and meeting old friends.
And you put a face to a name, like your Twitch viewers. Do you ever have a person come up to you and say, "I'm this person on Twitch," and then you all of a sudden make the connection?
Always a strange one, because when a viewer comes up to you and they say, "Hey, Rig, what's up, man? I'm this guy in your chat. I've been watching you for years. I know the name, but it's weird seeing their face."
Oh,
See, the viewers look at me. They know what I look like, but if you know what I mean, I see them in a different way to they see me, of course.
you almost
So
can
it's
I don't know if you're like me. I can almost imagine what a viewer looks like, just simply how
yes,
they react. Yeah.
definitely. I have my own picture imagined in my head of them, and it's always a surreal thing to experience when they come up and talk to you. I like to take them and sit down with them and have a nice little chat.
That's awesome. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds very exciting. That's something I haven't been able to experience yet, but I
One
am
day,
looking
my
forward.
friend.
Yeah.
One day, me and you will talk and sit down.
Hell yeah. Looking forward to it. Okay. Kind of a meme. Cam asks, "What is Mateo's sister's name on Instagram?" I don't know if that's a. Okay, so I remember back
Mm.
Mateo 4, right? Is that his name on Twitch?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the full meme, but I remember Mateo was always in your chat whenever I'd be in there. So,
That's right.
and I
So,
remember a few times I remember something about Mateo's sister. Anyway.
well, Mateo's quite the meme in my stream, and years ago, you know, everybody knew that he had quite an attractive sister. So we used to tease him about it and show pictures of her on stream and blah blah. But I don't do that anymore. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of cringe.
Yeah.
I just used to tease him, really,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
thirst over her. That's it. But I don't do it anymore. I've not shown we used to show pictures of Mateo's sister on stream, but when I think of it now, that's kind of disturbing.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
that's it
funny though.
really.
No, and I think it's cool that I don't know. I just think of the good times, I guess. I don't see anything bad about
No,
remembering
yeah.
the funny times, but yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Hobbit is asking, "What is your favorite movie and why is it The Hobbit?" Is that your favorite movie?
Hobbit's terrible movie.
Okay, I
Terrible
was gonna
movies.
say, I was
Stretched out, too much CGI.
completely
Not
agree.
not very memorable whatsoever. I'm a huge movie fan. Like, I choose movies over series any day of the week, and I know that's a very unpopular opinion, but movies just impact me more. Because movie is 2 hours of content, whereas a series is many many episodes and it takes build-ups. I like the quick impact of a movie, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a movie fan over series. But my favorite movies of all time, may I list some?
Yeah, go ahead.
Rocky, for one, because I love boxing.
Rocky 4?
One,
What
2, 3, and 4.
4
If
is
I,
every time I watch 4, I get the chills during the
mm,
training montage.
3 is my favorite with
Okay.
Mr. T.
Okay.
Lord of
Respectable.
the Rings. I could go on and on, to be fair. On and on and on.
What are your favorite
Yeah.
shows, even though you don't like shows as much as movies?
I so there's one show that's one of my favorite pieces of media ever, and it's easily rank one in my mind when it comes to shows, and that's The Mandalorian.
Okay.
Because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Huge Star Wars fan.
My brothers are huge fans of The Mandalorian. I never got into it. I felt like it
That's fair
was
game.
was too it was too chill. There wasn't enough going on, I felt like. But I guess that's what
Yep.
some people really love about it.
You know me, I'm all about chill.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um. Okay. This is a question. I guess he goes on. One of his third questions was a question I asked my CC a few days ago, and no one knew an answer on. If RuneScape as a whole didn't exist, how do you feel you would have spent your hours that you spent in game, learning new skills, different games, new languages, business, perhaps? So what would have been your plan in 2013 if RuneScape had never been a thing?
Jesus Christ. Very tricky answer. A very tricky question, sorry. What would I be doing if host RuneScape didn't exist? Honestly, baby, flipping burgers in a gas station somewhere. I have no clue. But my life would be nowhere near what it is right now in terms of how good I've got it.
Yeah, I think
I just don't know, but I'd be way worse off. Way worse off. I couldn't begin to imagine where I'd be right now. Or as dark as it sounds, if I'd still be alive, because that's how much of a dark place I was in back in the early 2010s.
Yeah, this game has been a blessing in so many lives, especially mine, and I imagine yours. Yeah.
This game saved many lives.
Okay. Okay, I don't know exactly. Rory the Rogue asks, "How was sleeping in the same bed with Sick Nerd? Did that ever happen?"
I know what he's referring to. So, another quick story, I guess. I know what he's referring to. Let me tell the story.
Okay.
So, it was the Insomnia event in England here, probably around 2018, and it was me, Sick Nerd, Torvesta, Boaty, and a few others. I can't clearly remember what the event was all about, but some of the old school team was there. And at the end of the event, everybody's going back to the hotel. And me and Sick Nerd are stood there with no way to get back. Torvesta approaches us and asks if we'd like a ride back to the hotel. So, of course, we say, cool, we'll go with you, Alex. We get in his car. We drive back to the hotel car park, and that's where Torvesta crashed his car. If you remember seeing that video on my Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
I think he accidentally drove into a lamppost or something. and his bumper fell off.
Oh, God.
And me and Sick Nerd, just stood with him for a little bit and comforted him, and Torvesta ended up calling his mom, asking for tips. And then me and Sick Nerd went back to the hotel room, and he lay on the bed, and I sat on the chair. We had a conversation, and that is the bed where he caught the bed bugs from and took it back home. If you remember that too.
I don't remember that. Oh, God.
Sick Nerd had a bed bug problem, and it was from that very room, and I didn't sit on the bed. Thank fuck that I didn't. And he took them home with him, and he had to get an exterminator to kill them off and whatnot. But yeah, I didn't lie on the bed with him. I sat on the chair next to him.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Another question similar to, I guess, your experiences at RuneFest. What is it like seeing these streamers that you've been watching for years, meeting them? Are they the same person behind the camera? And are you the same person behind the camera?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I ain't got nothing to hide. I am who I am. I'm pretty chill.
What about others? Who is the biggest, like, who is a completely different person, or who is the most different, I guess, as a streamer that you would have never guessed?
I would say most of them are the same.
Okay.
I'm in real life, I'm very, very quiet. Even though I'm still the same, if people initiate conversation with me, I'm the type of person where I won't say anything unless someone sparks me to talk. I'm a man of few words in real life. I'm not an overly talkative person. I like to keep my sentences short and sweet. I'm not that type of person that will yak on for 15 minutes straight. I like to get straight to the point.
Yeah. No, I like to hear about them because I am excited to meet other content creators and even viewers that I've been friends with. It feels like forever, and we've never actually met.
All of the streamers are pretty much the same face to face.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Cat Bob asks, what do you think about the current state of the game and the direction Jagex is going with OSRS?
To be fair, I don't really pay attention to the direction the game's going, baby, because I'm playing an ironman that's restricted to the year 2005, so I don't actually have my eye on what's going on in the game. Don't know.
I guess in your opinion then, because there's a lot of people that don't keep fully up to date, but as a person now that doesn't keep fully up to date, what is your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing in the game. I do see that a lot of people are unhappy with various parts of the game, like the wilderness and whatnot. Monsters having too high GP per hour drop tables. There's a lot of issues from what I keep seeing on social media. But I don't know. I'm still loving the game. 7 years on, old school RuneScape. I'm loving it. Loving the community. Nothing's ever perfect, of course. Nothing ever will be. That's because it's an MMORPG at the end of the game, and balance is completely impossible when it comes to MMORPGs. You can't please everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so I have a few topics.
But we do have a lot of things we need to work on. I don't know. I'm not a PKer, never have been, but I know that the PKers are needing rejuvenation of their play style, the wilderness and whatnot.
Yeah.
We need to focus on the PKs for sure, from what it looks like.
Yeah. No, that's definitely the issue at hand right now is a lot of...
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk. There was also... I don't know. There's been a lot of talk, and also Bodhi came out with a little ramble talking about PvP, which is interesting because I feel like if somebody as prevalent as Bodhi starts talking about it, there's going to be a lot more people
absolutely
talking about it. Before I get into a few of my, I have a lot of topics that I want to kind of ask you, especially stories. But Jordan or Mafia is asking, if there was another skill added to the game, what would you like it to be? And then he also asked, would you come back to your main? And we already covered that.
Never going back to it, no matter what. A new skill in the game. I honestly don't welcome a new skill in the game, baby. Does this game scream for a new skill?
Nope. In my opinion, no. But
exactly, I don't think it does. Maybe it could benefit from a new skill, make it a bit more exciting. But I just think it's a little bit unnecessary. I think a new skill in the game is quite sensitive, just like changing the graphics.
It is extremely sensitive. Yeah.
It's old school RuneScape at the end of the day. How far are we going to take it where this game no longer really deserves to be called old school?
Yeah. I feel like with the most recent update, I know you're probably not familiar, they came out with these mini kind of summoning things where you can summon these little resurrected zombies and stuff to help you fight. And I will say, at least what I saw in the community and what I saw in my stream was people thinking this is just weird. Like, it sounded all cool and all, and then as soon as it came out, everything just doesn't feel as old school anymore. And I totally imagine with a skill, especially a skill that could change so many other skills, might be just a bit too much.
As the years go by, the less old school it's becoming, but that's inevitable.
Yeah.
It's an MMORPG. It needs updates. Otherwise, people are going to get bored.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Okay. This is the only fucking question Waldron ever asks. He asks tits or ass. And you say you already know in the thing. So what is it?
I'm an ass man.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. I am an ass man, bro. We're living in an age of ass. Girls are always squatting to try and get a bigger ass. Yeah, high-waisted jeans, etc. Yeah.
We're on the same page then.
Absolutely,
Waldron, bro. This is Waldron's probably not even listening, but if you are listening, like, let's chill it with the only question you ever ask. But I 100% agree as well.
I do like a good set of Babylons, though. Shout out to you know who.
And a good set of just a personality, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh God. Okay, so I have a few topics of my own I have been pretty eager to ask. So I guess we'll start off with one of my favorite questions to ask is who are the most, and I can already imagine who it's going to be, but who are the most inspirational OSRS players in your opinion that have inspired you?
Wow. They've inspired me. Most inspirational players. As in how I play RuneScape or as a person?
Either, and you can go into it.
It's a
Even
very
content
tough
creators
question.
if you want.
I would say AJ's inspired me to be a better person because he's really kind. He's not toxic in any way, shape, or form. You know, I'd always watch AJ's in the early days of my streaming career, and I would think to myself, just by how kind he is, why am I the way I am? Why do I react to certain things in the chat the way I do? And AJ reacts to it so differently than I. Maybe I have a lot of things to work on. AJ's got me thinking like that. And I thank him for that, even though, he didn't really mean to do that. He helped me improve a lot as a person, to become more kind and polite and think before I speak. Player wise, I would say no one's really inspired me to play the way I do. I'm quite stuck in my own ways, always have been.
Okay. Yeah, Hey Jace is one of the
Yeah,
kindest streamers that I've ever met too. Very, especially with
lovely person.
especially with how much he could potentially deal with people. Think, just imagine the questions. I imagine, I still remember to this day, first watching his stream. So many people would come in and be like, why do you have so much? Why do you play this game? Why do you have so much XP? Like the patience to just,
Yep. Well, when you're a streamer, you got to deal with the why.
yep.
The
Why?
why
Yeah.
questions. Why are you doing this? Why this and why that? That's the way
100
it is,
times a
bro.
stream. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god. Okay, I also want to ask, what was, I don't know if you have one off the top of your head, but what was what was your favorite stream you've ever had? What was it about the stream that made you love it so much, if you can
Favorite
recall
stream
any?
I've ever had. Oh wow. God, these are tough questions, baby.
I'm
God
just
damn.
curious because as a
This
content
favorite
creator
stream.
myself, I love to ask these.
I
Or
think my
one of
favorite
them.
one. My favorite one in recent memory is probably getting the Carol's crossbow and then getting the fire cape 2 hours later on stream. That was my favorite one thus far. But my favorite stream ever, I don't know. It's such a tough question, man. I've streamed like hundreds of times, thousands of times. I don't know. That's my favorite one in recent times. Getting the fire cape on my hardcore. That was hype. I had like
That
1,000 viewers. It was
yeah.
great.
That was so cool that happened to be your, I mean, I don't know how cool you think it was, but I think it's cool that it was your last item. The one
Yeah.
item you wanted.
The one item I wanted, yeah.
It's all,
What are the chances? 1 in 27, I think. How many barrow pieces there are?
yeah, 24.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one. Yeah,
1 in
that's
24.
yeah. Well, that's awesome.
It was meant to be.
Okay, so now I want to kind of shift over to I guess, I don't know. I guess we've kind of already covered this in a way, but one of my questions was just what is something you look forward to? Like what is, I guess, what is the thing that keeps pushing you to stream, and what is the thing that you're really looking forward to as a content creator? Is it something with the game that can change? Is it one of your own decisions on how you're going to play the game? Or I know that's kind of open-ended, but
I would say what keeps pushing me, bro, is just knowing that I mean so much to thousands of people out there, man. If I go live, it makes the day. Knowing that a lot of people kind of depend on me too and the stream. Yeah.
I remember, and I know we already kind of talked about it, but just when you did stream back in the early days when I was watching, you were a huge you were like, I think, my most viewed stream. Like I would watch you the most out of any other streamer, and it was because of just the unique vibes and how motivating it was to see you grind day in, day out,
Yeah.
and just have a smile on your face. Who knows what was in the inside, but I will say you brought those good vibes, and so. And
Yeah.
just the random outbursts as well were just so entertaining. I loved it.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
loved
God,
it.
man. I obviously I know what I used to say and how aggressive I used to be, and I think back and I think, God, how could I say some of them things? My God, I used to flame people out for silly reasons. What was wrong with me?
Oh my God, dude. So many good times. I kid you not. There's a few streamers that can make me do it, and you were one of them that could just make me bust out laughing in the middle of class or
People,
something.
a lot of people would accuse me of like being fake just because the terms of service changed, why I stopped flaming people out. And I'm thinking to myself, I could flame you out right now and not violate the terms of service, man. It ain't because of the terms of service why I changed.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of people would bang that on my toes.
So, I kind of want to go back to now like the old stories. What were some, I guess, good old memories of you playing back in 2013 and stuff? Can you say some of your old man stories?
2013 times. I remember this clan I used to be in. It was called Eudocia. I think it was called that. And the way I got into that clan was meeting a person at the willow trees just by Catherby Bank. His name was Ruben, and he was rank 2 woodcutting at the time. And we both wore an eye patch. It was just purely coincidental. And that's how we became friends. And that was the first person I befriended in old school RuneScape. And that was on February the 23rd, I believe. A day or two after the release of Old School. And he invited me to a Eudocia. And I would say that was one of the reasons that what motivated me to keep on grinding. I would always update the clan on my goals and, you know, each 50 I would get, because I went for 50 all. That was the first target on my account. But keep it casual.
Yeah.
But when I got 50 all, I thought, I'll get 80, one at a time. I eventually got 80 all. And then I went for 99, one at a time. Yeah. I miss Ruben. He was one of these types of players that I would speak to every single day for months on end. And one day he just never logged in and he vanished and the whole clan fell apart.
Interesting. So I know it's kind of interesting. We haven't even covered this, but was your name Rigondeaux at the very beginning of Old School?
The very beginning. It was the first name I tried and it's the first name I got.
So explain, who is Rigandao?
Ah, good question, bro. So Rigondeaux, I am named after Guillermo Rigondeaux. He is a Olympic boxer from Cuba. And the way I discovered Rigondeaux was the 2000 Sydney Olympic Games when he won the Olympic gold medal on his 20th birthday. I was 9 years old at the time. Ever since then, he has been a heavy inspiration in my life. And I even watched him capture his second Olympic gold medal in 2004 Athens. I love boxing, always have done. I've watched it since 1995, and Rigondeaux was the first boxer that I watched that made me appreciate the art of boxing, the art of hitting and not being hit. Whereas before I just liked slugfests, you know. Rigondeaux made me appreciate the more technical side of boxing.
Is boxing your favorite sport?
Always will be. But Rigondeaux is a huge inspiration in my life in a few ways. A very successful boxer too. He had 18 straight gold medals in the amateurs. He had about 430 fights, with only about 20 defeats, and the last amateur defeat he had was 2003. Very special man. Double Olympic gold champion.
Wow. That's yeah. No, I remember hearing about Rigandao because, and do you almost feel okay? So the interesting thing as well is you like to go by Rig. That's what I've always heard, and not many people know your actual name. Do you
They
appreciate?
do. They do.
They do know.
Sometimes I'll ask in my chat, "Do you know my name?" And they'll all spam yes. I do now. It used to be a huge enigma back in the day, but when I got robbed in 2017, my mum leaked my name on Twitter. So ever since
Uh,
then, it's been easy to get hold of now.
well, I bet there are still people that don't. Okay, so how was that then? I guess initially before people really knew, did you enjoy kind of not having your name out there?
It's a complicated subject, really. I like people calling me Rig, and even when I meet new people in real life, I say my name's Rig. I never say my real life name.
Wow.
And yeah, everybody calls me Rig. The only people that call me my real name is my mother and family members and school friends. It's the only people. And there's particular reasons why I don't like people addressing me as my real name. It may seem cringe, but when I became a streamer baby, and as the years went by, and as I developed as a person, became much more in control of myself, it's like I was born again, if you know what I mean. I had sensibility inside of me that I didn't have when I used to go by my real name. Um, it's hard to explain, really hard to explain, man. But I don't like who I was back in the day, baby. My real name's Corey, by the way. I don't mind saying that. That's my real name, Corey. When I was Corey, I was a loser. I didn't have any self-belief. I was trapped in a dark place. I was troubled in many ways. But with the name Rig, when I became Rigandao, for old school RuneScape, good things just started happening in my life. It's like I'm born again, man. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
To call me my real name, it's highly disrespectful. It's just the way I class it. Very, very disrespectful to me.
Wow.
I don't like people calling me my real name whatsoever. If people call it if people call me in my chat, I end up probably banning them. Lengthy or maybe permanent.
Yeah. I mean, shit.
If they're like just following, and
Yeah.
they're there to troll me, they'll get a perm ban, of course. Of course, if it's a viewer that's been watching me and they call me my real name, I'll say, please don't call me that.
Yeah. And I understand that.
I hope that makes sense. What I just said to you.
Yeah, it does. I remember, so I never had it with my name per se, but I will say in high school, I moved my senior year to a different city. And it was really strange because I didn't think it would be a great year at all, but it ended up being one of my favorite years of my life, basically, of moving to a different high school for my last year. And it was kind of like this complete, I got to kind of almost reinvent myself. Not like to say I was a completely different person at all, but I got to like throw away all like the negative things people knew about me. And it's not to say I was a negative person or anything, but it just anything that had happened from preschool until high school, nobody knew about me. And so I went to this new high school and I got to like create my own, I guess, story starting there. And
I hear that.
It was refreshing.
Rigondeaux was a second chance at life. On top of that, more people know me as Rig than they do my real life name. Tens of thousands know me as Rig, whereas probably a couple of hundred know me as my real life name. I'm more comfortable and more familiar with Rig. It's a nickname at the end of the day,
Yeah. So I don't know if you have anything, like any topics that you would like to share, things or just stories or anything that have been on your mind that you would like to share with the people that watch the podcast. Is there anything?
There's nothing really that comes to mind, but I do have a piece of advice that I have for people that are younger than me. If you're 25 years old, 24, 23, late teens, whatever, never use your young age as an excuse to be lazy or slack. When I was younger, when I was 22, 21, whatever, maybe I had stuff to do. Maybe I had college to attend. and I'd think to myself, well, today I'll give it a skip because I'm 22. I have a lot of time. Time's always ticking. You only have so much time on Earth, so never take your time for granted, especially when you're younger. When you're a young person, you mock time, usually, right?
Yep.
Take time seriously, get stuff done while you're young. Make every day count. Never use your age to slack as an excuse to slack.
Yeah, that's great advice, honestly. How is it now being 30? Do you I know you're not a man that regrets things. You like grow from it, but yeah, how is it being now in your 30s? Do you feel almost like life is shorter? I guess we're kind of getting more into deep stuff, but like just I don't know, life is very short when you think about it and you want to live your life to the fullest.
Yeah,
Do you what
definitely.
you do have advice already for us in our 20s, but do you have any other advice? And how do you see your life now as a 30-year-old?
Now that I'm 30, I'm just focused on here and now, you know. I like to dwell on the present. I don't really concentrate on the past, and I don't concentrate on my future. I live for every day, baby.
Do you want
One,
is there a certain place where you would like to end up living, or do you not have a preference?
so I've lived in Nottingham all my life, and I would like to move out eventually, but I'm just seeing where life takes me right now. I don't think that I'll live in Nottingham all my life. Maybe one day I'll move overseas. I don't know yet, but I've been really sensible with my money for the past 2 years, 3 years, and I've saved a lot. And I'm just waiting for the right time, man. I just want to wait and see how certain things pan out in my life, baby, before I think about moving and whatnot.
Another little
Yeah, I'm
question.
open mind. I'm
Yeah,
open minded to moving. Definitely moving out.
that's cool. I guess
Yeah.
this might be kind of a weird question, but is there any female in your life that you have any interest in, or I this is never a question that's asked because it's a RuneScape podcast. Like the last
why?
thing we
Why
talk
am?
about is
Why am I being asked?
I don't know. I'm just curious because I don't know. You're I guess more mature than I guess I
Hey, you
see
know,
mature as an age and as in just experience with like stream and
I
just you've
guess
grown as a player.
I've had a reputation over the years with girls, etc. Is there what was the question? Is there a girl that I have
Is
my eyes on?
Yeah, I guess. Is there any girls in your life?
Well, you know, don't say girls. I'm not that much of a you know what.
Is
But
there a girl
but
in your life? How about that? There we go.
there is a girl I have my eyes on. But that's all I'll say, really.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. I ask and this is not RuneScape related at all, but sometimes I think as a content creator, I spend so much time in my room on my computer
Yeah.
and I love to go out still. I especially over the past year I've recognized my metabolism slowing down. I have to start taking care of
Mm-hmm.
my body more and
Yeah.
I have to like especially sitting down so much.
Oh
I
yeah.
really have to start taking care of myself and
It- This is one of the reasons what made me realize I've got to balance my life, baby. I'm
yep,
30. It's not healthy for a 30-year-old to be sitting down for 10 hours straight. It's really bad for the body. I've got to make an excuse to go out, use my legs, go walk in places, you know, get the blood
absolutely.
flowing in my body.
Yep.
Back to girls, by the way.
Yeah, go.
Over the years, over the past 5 years of being a streamer and whatnot, you know, yes, I've had, you know, I've seen a few girls. I've been in one or two relationships, and they didn't, you know, a lot of them didn't end well. Some of them ended civilly, but some of them didn't. And you know what? This was, you know, when I was in these relationships, it was 2016, 17, 18, and 19. I was still on the path to finding myself, you know? Like I said, I was still on the path to maturing, understanding myself better, what's right and what's wrong. I wasn't ready for a relationship back then. And I had a few that went really bad. When you know yourself, you know, when you get wiser, that's when you'll have a better shot at a better relationship, right? And I wasn't ready back then. But these days, I definitely feel like I could love somebody, know myself better. I know more of what I want in life.
Yeah. I feel the same, especially, starting out streaming when you
Mm,
I have a very unique experience in starting out streaming. I mean,
yeah,
I know you had your own unique experience, but when you kind of
yeah,
put all your eggs into one basket and you're trying to and I started streaming the same thing. I love the game. I absolutely love the game. I stream to play RuneScape. I love it.
absolutely,
Um
man.
and starting out there was no way cuz I've been in a couple relationships. None of them were ever serious.
Hmm.
But I will say, starting out streaming, the last thing on my mind is let's go, let's go date a girl and tell her what I do for a living. Like
Yeah,
stream RuneScape to 5 people.
and yeah,
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 but
that man.
I see it now, and like as time goes and as I grow, I'm very fortunate to be growing as a streamer because
You are.
it's not a guarantee.
Hmm.
And I see myself now, and I know that I eventually want to be with like a girl.
Yeah.
And so, like, I just think as my life, because I also live in Alabama now, which I've never lived here. I know nobody here.
Oh,
I
how long have you lived there for?
I've lived here for 2 years now.
2 years. Okay. What was the purpose of moving there?
So when I first started streaming, I went out with my brother to Baltimore, Maryland,
Right.
and he was doing an internship, and I went out there. I literally have, oh, have and had at the time just 3 more semesters of school before I could graduate. But I
Hmm.
decided instead of going back to school because I still didn't really know what I wanted to do after school, I decided to delay it to try to stream. And so I went out with my brother with some savings I had
Right.
and just sent it. And yeah, and then
That's dope.
afterward, my brother got a job in Alabama at a ad agency kind of, and so he's been here, and then I just flew out with him. I was like, you know what, like I'll go with you
Yeah.
basically,
Hell
and
yeah,
we'll
man.
see how it goes. So
Yeah, the desire for change. Change is always good, baby.
yeah, and
Really is.
it's beautiful because like I get to live wherever I want now. Like I
Hmm.
can kind of choose, but back to the whole like girl situation, I have a bunch of
Yeah.
friends from the West Coast, I should say, in the United States where I grew up, but I don't see them anymore, and I've lost a lot of connections with a lot of the friends I had and a lot of female connections I had, and so now I'm living out here with no actual
Mm.
friends besides my brother's work friends because I'm just here making friends online, and I wonder,
Man,
yeah,
you would always think that, being a streamer and being indoors a lot, that I wouldn't bump into girls, but you do, a lot, well, not a lot, sorry, but you'll get girls coming into my stream and saying, "Hey, what's up?" And sometimes they'll add me on Snapchat and talk to me, but I'm a very picky person, bro. I'm very defensive, especially with what I've been through in life.
yeah.
And I'll deflect a lot of them, man, and just say, "Have a nice day. Take care, man." But, you
Yeah,
know,
no, I've definitely had a couple experiences of
yeah,
meeting females on stream, and
it's
it's
it's not
interesting.
bad to be protective over yourself at the
Yeah,
end of the day, man.
yeah,
I'm just way more picky these days, and there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think.
yeah. I just find it interesting because I feel like that's like end goal would be to like eventually end up with a girl, but like when does that
Yeah.
happen? And it used to not be a priority, but at this point, I almost feel like I would feel comfortable dating a girl at this point
Yeah.
because I'm like more independent.
Oh, man, it's such a lovely thing to finally meet someone who you think you click with. They love you, you love them, you're out for one another, move in, you combine your incomes together and you thrive. It's a lovely thing, man. It really is. But falling in love, developing feelings for someone, it's a gamble.
It is
It's a
so
gamble at the end of the
risky.
day. You're either going to be the saddest person in the world or the happiest person in the world.
Literally.
You know,
And
you
I
really
haven't
are. But you,
and I haven't even experienced true love. I've had very
Mhm.
young very immature relationships where I thought I was in love, and
Yeah.
it wasn't true love, because yeah, we'll just say that. But
Sometimes you got to go through the bad relationships to get to the good ones,
yeah, yeah,
at the end of the day.
yeah. Just I guess it was a funny topic because we never really cover that, but
Yeah, not a problem. But yes, I'm single right now, but yes, there is someone that I'm eyeing to answer your question.
That's cool. So,
But I'd say no more on that.
so going back to streaming now, real quickly, do you ever plan to stream something else besides old school RuneScape, or is RuneScape going to be your main game?
RuneScape will always be my main game, so long as it's around at the end of the day. Because of the replayability of it, my love for the game, my deep connection with it, I do like to stream other games every now and then, but I'm a very picky person, not just with girls, but with games too, baby. I have such a small library of games that I adore. You know, I could never be a variety streamer just because I'm so picky. You get what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
not that type of person that could try out a game and blah blah. It takes a lot for me to try out a new game. Hell of a lot. Plus, I'd probably end up disliking it.
Yeah.
RuneScape will always be the main game for sure, but every now and then I wouldn't mind streaming a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
Need to get a capture card first though.
I know you're a big fan of Skyrim too.
Yeah, it's I like the music in the game, but it's not actually even close to my favorite game of all time.
Is it The Last of Us?
It's The Last of Us, yeah.
Okay, there we go. That was the other one.
Yeah.
I always think of or is it wait, it is Skyrim, right? Your follow alert. Is it from
My
Skyrim?
sub alert.
Or your sub alert. There we go. Yeah, it's your sub alert.
Yeah, my sub and resub alert. I just like the sound effect, really.
Okay. The Last of Us. So that's your favorite. Is that your all-time favorite game?
My all-time favorite game.
I've never played
Nothing
it.
comes close to it. Yeah, very emotionally powerful game.
That's cool.
Set in a post-apocalyptic world.
All right. Well, Rig, I don't have any more topics, and we covered all the main Twitter topics. So,
Oh yeah.
is there anything else that you would like to add? I have one last question to finish it off if you don't have anything. But
Please fire away.
okay, so is there any, I guess it's not really a question, it's just more of an ending thoughts. Are there any shout outs you would like to give? Any more shout outs? I know there was one to Hey Jace earlier on, one to Caleb. Is there any
Shout
other
out.
shout outs?
Shout out to my certain friends. Shout out to certain person that is there for me every single day, and continues to be. And shout out to my viewers and the people that support me. Shout out to the people that have taken the time to understand my complex personality and sometimes deceiving personality, because I'm hard to read, baby. Even to this day, I'm quite hard to read, and
Yeah.
people don't really know my true intentions. Yeah. Shout out to the people that gave me a second chance.
Okay. Well, Rig, it was an absolute pleasure having you on. Again, I look forward to your future content, and I'm very glad that I've been able to like be a viewer of yours for so many years, and I'm excited to see your growth, your continual growth, and just you as a person, a streamer, a player, and stuff. So, thank you for
Thank you,
coming
man.
on, man.
There's always room for improvement, even to this day. Even though I'm happy with who I am these days, I am really happy with the person I am. And I'm so grateful for that. I couldn't say the same about myself 5 years ago, baby. If someone came up to me and said, "Are you happy with who you are?" I would certainly say no. But I am these days. I like who I am. Very proud of who I've become as a person. And I'm excited for the future, bro. Excited for streaming more RuneScape, and wherever the future takes me, let's do it.
Awesome. Well, Rig, I will have your Twitch in the description, your Twitter.
Thank you, man.
Is there any other links or any other thing that you would like me to add in there?
My Snapchat, if you could please.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Go
just
follow
type
him
it
on
in
Snap, boys.
Yeah,
And girls.
I do stories every single day. I'm very open with my life. I share what I'm eating that day, where I'm going, if I'm working out. They're kind of like vlogs.
That is why I'm coming back to the YouTube thing. I know you're a Snapchatter, but oh my God, imagine the YouTube vlogs. I'm just saying.
Hello?
Oh yeah, are you still there?
Whoops, sorry. Disconnected by accident. My bad.
Okay. I was just saying.
As
Wait.
you were saying, sorry.
Okay, good. You can hear me. I was just saying that's why I want you to come back to, or I don't want you to come back, but I want you to start making YouTube is simply because of those vlogs, those
One
Snapchats
day.
you do and stuff like that. So.
One day maybe. See, the thing with Snapchat, I can just record something and I press a button and it uploads.
Yeah.
You know.
That is
and
true.
YouTube's
It is
just a few
so
more
convenient.
steps.
That's true. It is so convenient.
Yeah, it literally takes up zero time. I just click record and press a button and job's done.
Yeah.
YouTube's a bit more than that, but never say never. Like I've said a million times this stream. Never say never, man. You never know with me.
Yeah. Well, Rig,
I changed my mind like the wind.
Yeah, and that's cool, you know. And I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you're happy, and I look forward to catching your streams in the coming years and seeing as you continually grow. So thank you so much again for being on it, and we will catch you guys on the next Sae Bae Cast. Not positive who's going to be on it, but I think you'll be excited for the next cast. So stay tuned.
Thanks so much for having me, baby. Appreciate it,
My
bro.
pleasure. Take it easy.
Thank you, man.